I put together a 4-piece mismatched Thomasville set that we're about to make into 2 sets. That's going to be a set, and the long dresser and a nightstand is going to be a set. So let's get started. The long dresser and 1 nightstand are going to be cream, and then we're picking out stain for new bases. First thing to do though is get these cleaned up. They were dirty. I like to give them a good scrub before I get started sanding. And then once I get started sanding, the tops of these are, actually this dresser and the nightstands are all laminate, which is fine. But you can see it's laminate there and wood there. So they react very differently to sanding. Of course, the sides are wood. Just want to get everything sanded. I'm going to take these drawers out because they're rubbing on each other. So I got to get these adjusted. And I label every drawer. These have a home. They don't like to be in their other places, and just check everything to make sure everything looks good inside. But I noticed that all of the little glides are different heights. So I'm going to do some adjusting with making some thicker and thinner and see how I do. And it's certainly best to do all of this before you actually get started and, with the actual refinishing part, because you don't want to mess up any of your new paint or whatever you're going to be doing, messing around with these drawers. So this took quite a long time, and I had to do the other side as well. So just get everything going. Then lay it down, and the sides, everything is wood on these except for the sides, particle board. They have a thick veneer over them, so the veneer was kind of holding everything together, but they do have a little bit of the area that's crumbling there. So I picked all of that out and filling that back in with Bondo. Then scuff sanding again, scuff sanding the dressers and the nightstands. Just got to get everything done. The edge banding on this was coming up, and I decided to glue it back down. So get that good and glued, and then tape it to hold it. I put some Bondo on it, on that little corner that was missing the edge banding, sanded that straight. So that's a nice corner, you won't even know it. Taking some measurements here on my way to Lowe's, because I need to buy some very expensive wood to build some bases. I'm just buying poplar. It's all nice hardwood, but wow, it sure is expensive, and it's hard to find some that's straight. So I write out my cut list and then make all of my cuts. Measure twice, cut once, and plug in your power saw. That usually helps. Okay, back to cutting. I make all of my cuts, and now's a great time for some sanding. Much easier to sand now than when this is all put together. I'll just get everything sanded. And I put everything laid out in groupings so I know what goes with what, and start making some pocket holes. Once I get that all finished, I lay it out how it's going to be put together just to make sure I have all of the grains going the direction that I want. Assemble my base. I have a full tutorial on this, by the way. Everything fit fine. And I've got a crumb catcher that drives me nuts. I don't like them when they're painted. I don't want to fill it in completely, but I just want to fill in the bottom of it and make it smooth, because these look horrible when they're painted. That is going to paint up beautifully. You can still see it, but it's going to be smooth. So because this is laminate, I'm going to use a bonding primer. This is Eclipse by Lily Moon. I just brush it on with a poly brush, and this is great. It's like glue for paint. So I do both the dresser and the nightstands. Move to some pre-stain conditioner for the bases. It just helps make your stain go on nice and smooth. And I'm going to start staining the bases. This is Salmon Stains in the color Dark Oak. This is a pretty dark stain, so I am putting it on and using a soft towel and wiping everything off. I'm top coating, and I did several coats, sanding in between. Getting ready to paint, but the weather had other plans. It's super windy, so I can't set up my tent up in the driveway like I normally do, so I'm in the garage. This is so awkward, but I gotta make it work. I need to get this done. So I put a tarp down, put my Easy Up in the garage, get my furniture situated, put up the sidewalls, and yeah, I'm in business. I made a spray booth in my garage. Safety first and get your PPE on, and time for some primer. Now, I'm priming them all together, and then I'm about to separate these because they're gonna be, again, 2 sets. So for now, though, I can get everything primed together. After primer, it's a great time to see all of the details that you wanna continue to work on. So I've got some seams here that I'm using some spot putty on. And on the long dresser, the wood grain on the end pieces I thought was just a little bit too heavy. So I'm using this filla in a bag, fried good filla, and just make a kind of a putty out of it. I'm taking a Bondo scraper and I'm just laying it across there, and it's going to fill everything in so that once I sand this down, it'll be nice and smooth. While that dries, I'm going to start painting the other set. This is going to be in bold black and farmhouse paints. I love this paint. So this tall dresser and one nightstand are black. And while that's drying now, back to the wood filler. So I've got a sanding net on my sander, and you'll see that it makes quick work of this. It's not difficult, and it makes such a huge difference. All of those little areas are now filled in. So when you rub your hand across it, it's nice and smooth. It's a lot of back and forth. So I'm back to the black set, sanding in between coats. I also am going to pull the drawers out and touch up these edges because I do this in between coats so that when I paint the next coat, in case I got anything on the front or whatever, it blends nicely. So I get the top and the sides all painted, just using a little poly brush to do that. I painted another coat of paint, and now I'm painting top coat, or I'm spraying top coat, and I did 3 coats of top coat, and again sanding lightly in between. Now I've swapped them out, and I've got the long dresser back in the tent, and I'm priming back over all of that wood filler. And where's the wood grain? You can't see it. Smooth it all out. Time for some color. So this is Ecru by Melange, and it's just a lovely beige color. Lots of little nooks and crannies with this style of dresser, so it takes a little bit. Love spraying the top. It's so nice and smooth, but now it also reveals the seams here. So because this is white, I didn't want to use the spot putty because it's so dark, so I just went in with some wood filler, and then I wiped it back with a damp cloth, so all you have is the edges there. Nice and filled in. When you paint that, you'll hardly be able to see them. Also in between coats here, I'm doing the same with touching up the tops and the sides of the drawers. And those seams are hardly noticeable now. So time for another coat of paint, and then some top coat, and installing the bases. So these are, I think this is the black nightstand first. Got the base on, looks so cute. And then the white one had part of the support for the dresser. It just was sticking up and it wasn't going to allow my base to go on flat. So I smoothed that out, installed this base. And then during the night, I was like, I just really felt like this needed more support. So I couldn't sleep and decided to get up first thing in the morning and build some more support for this. So I'm putting a board that goes on the dresser or on the nightstand itself. And then I will attach the legs, another one between the legs. I'm just using pine here. It didn't have to be anything special, and I had some pine. Time to drill more pocket holes and then assemble this. So I'm just putting the 2 pieces of wood together, and then I'll put it back on the nightstand and pocket holes. I screw it down into the nightstand and then screw leg to leg. So that's going into the nightstand, and then now I'm screwing this in between the legs. Everything is very secure now. I'm so happy that I did this because I really think that needed a lot more support. Time to add the base to the dresser. And this is a nice solid base. And this, again, doesn't have a back, but this does come around the corner there. So I was able to secure that better on here and didn't feel like I needed to build the whole back side of that. It was actually really secure. And I'm just putting wood conditioner on the sides of all the drawers. I had one broken drawer guide in the black dresser. So that's just an easy piece. I buy these on Amazon. Just unscrew one and screw it back in. Time to stage these and get these ready for photos. And here they are. The long white dresser. I love this style. It's just so clean and sleek. The wood inside the drawers is beautiful. And here it is with the matching nightstand. And the bases just really add that custom flair to it. The black dresser turned out so beautifully, and I just love the sheen of this paint. So beautiful. And with its matching nightstand, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow for more.